welcome. We are excited to have you here. We're going to be talking about something most restylers overlook, and that's what happens after a lead comes in. We always talk about, this is a marketing conversation most of the time. So we're often talking about what about leads? What about leads? What about leads? But the truth is, you've also got this issue where most shops are going to be focusing on more leads, more ads, more traffic, but very few focus on follow-up. Very few shops focus on visibility. Very few shops focus on response time. Very few focus on conversion systems. And that's what today is about. It's how to convert more of the leads you already have. So this is how restylers can leverage marketing automation to triple their conversions. I'm very excited about this. This framework really breaks growth into three areas. So we have drive leads. And by the way, this is over our overall philosophy across almost all of our webinars. We repeat this to remind everybody how important it is. Drive leads, maximize conversion, optimize results. So most businesses spend all their time just generating leads, right? But the real opportunity is usually in the middle, that middle section right here, maximize conversion, improving conversion. That's where automation and systems make a huge difference, okay? And that's where we're gonna dive into today and get a little bit more detailed on it, okay? So next up, we are talking about the roadmap. So this roadmap, the accelerated growth roadmap, it shows how everything connects together. So we have lead generation is important. It's always super important. We always want to be continually driving new leads, but usually sales teams, that's all they want. I want new leads. I want new leads. But what they forget is conversion is where most shops are leaking revenue. That includes the follow-up, the automation, the reputation, the customer communication, and we have a focus right here today on the automation part. We've talked about some of these other things in the past. Today, we're going to focus on here. If you've missed previous webinars, we have them recorded. We get them on YouTube. We get them on our channel where we talk about paid search and SEO and all that. But today's focus is this. So that's going to include follow-up, automation, reputation, customer communication, because that's where the shops that respond faster and they follow up more consistently and better usually win more business. Pretty much guaranteed, okay? So this is what modern marketing looks like when the system all works together, which is what we're trying to build. We want to build this for all of our clients, right? It's not just SEO or a website, or it's not just ads. It's not just AI. It's not just automation. Shops that grow consistently, they combine lead generation, visibility, follow-up, automation, and reputation. And that's all of these factors touch in those areas. And they're all important. We call it the digital dominance method, because great marketing without great conversion systems usually leaks revenue every time. Just for those of you that haven't met me yet, my name is Jesse Stoddard. I'm the author of the Auto Restylers Digital Marketing Playbook. And I've spent the last decade plus, more like 20 years, helping businesses, small businesses, and more recently restylers to generate more leads, get better jobs, and grow without wasting money. And I serve on the SEMA Pro Select Committee. I've spoken at SEMA Pro educational sessions at SEMA, and then I work directly with restylers across the country. And I do love the business. I'm fascinated with it and all of our clients. And I'll say this, what I'm sharing today isn't theory. It's not something like we read on a blog post. This is something that we're doing in real life. So that's very cool. And at Auto Style Marketing, our goal is simple. We want to help restylers grow through better systems, better visibility, and better customer experience, because the businesses that win in the long term are the ones that combine great craftsmanship with great operations, okay? And so before we jump in, I just want to quickly talk about the goal for today. We're going to talk about where leads are slipping through the cracks, how automation improves response time, how better follow-up increases book jobs, and how predictable systems create predictable revenue. The goal really is simple, okay? We want to help you convert more of the leads you already have without increasing ad spend. That's one that you got to wrap your mind around, because normally what it is, you have to visit more dealerships, you have to spend more money on them, you have to create more dealer mats, or for retail, you've got to spend more money on ads. You got to do more money on Facebook and Instagram, more money to Google all the time. But what if you could increase your ROI without having to spend any more, or very little anyway, not much more, and you get a significant ROI? That's what we're doing here today, okay? So that's the focus. And make sure you grab the workbook. There's a QR code, or one of my team members here, Fatima will put a link in the chat, but grab the workbook. It's designed to identify gaps Thank you, Fatima, for putting that in there. It helps you identify the gaps in your own process while we go through this webinar. So this is always meant to be interactive. Again, if you can hear me and you're seeing that and you can see the link or the QR code, can you put a little 1 in the chat for me? I just want to make sure everybody can still follow along and we've got it going and you got that link. Are we all good there? Great. Thank you, Brooklyn. Appreciate it. All right. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Okay, good. So we're rocking and rolling. I'm going to keep on going then. Okay. One thing we've consistently seen working with Restylers all over is the fastest growing shops have better systems. Okay. We talk a lot about visibility and follow-up, but the system to create the follow-up is what's required. A lot of times when we say, hey, you need better follow-up, what that means is you call up the sales manager or your outbound salesperson and you say, you're doing a bad job of follow-up. And that's fine, but it's not really going to produce the result you want. You need better consistency, which requires a system. And the shops that stay engaged with what we're teaching and they're learning and they're implementing the technology, they're going to adapt faster and they're going to stay ahead of the competition. So what are the biggest challenges when it comes to marketing? Okay, I want you to think about that for a second. What's your biggest challenges? Thank you, Bill. Saw your number 1 in there. Appreciate it. What are your biggest challenges? Here's common answers that we hear. Lack of clear tracking for ROI. By the way, we are working very hard on this. It's not as easy as it sounds, but we are building dashboards and we've got some great thinkers and great minds working on this and how to integrate all of your systems so we can tell you what your true ROI is. Another one we hear is too many options. There's just too much to do. I could do this, I could do that. Another one is I just don't have enough leads. Another one is my leads are no good. These are trash leads, like low quality, right? Or the lead costs too high. It's just too expensive. We're not really getting the ROI because it's too much money. So is the lead really the problem? And that's how I would second this. And I would turn this back on you and say, most shops today are getting leads from everywhere. It's no longer where you just get referrals only or just the dealer network. You got social media, you got website forms or the phone number on the website, Google business profile. They can come straight from there. You've got your referrals, sometimes retail customer referrals. You've got missed calls. I just put missed calls. They're calls, but a lot of them are missed and they're actually leads. And you don't know it because they don't leave a message, right? And you're on the other line. Or even existing customers that would come back and buy again, but they don't, right? Because of either you're not reaching out to them with follow-up or they tried and you didn't pick up the phone or whatever, right? So the question really becomes, is lead flow really the problem, right? Or is the real problem what happens after the lead comes in? That's the key. So we find, and we're seeing this across the board, the biggest challenge is unconverted leads. It's not that everybody needs more leads, it's unconverted leads. So here's the problem. The reality is most businesses, they're not realizing that people visit the website, they fill out forms, they call the business, and then they disappear, right? 90% of the people that get to your website don't convert. That's the reality. 50 to 60% of inbound leave unconverted, and 90% of web forms fail to convert. Is it because they're all bots and spam? No. There is some of that, of course, but it's not all of it, right? And here's why. Today's consumers prefer to book online versus call in and speak to somebody. It's just the fact. And if given the choice, they choose to text versus call or email. Leads that are not followed up within 15 minutes go cold. By the way, if you're running Google ads, you also have to have a fast response time. Otherwise, it impacts your ads. Your ads become more expensive and they're not shown as much, especially if you do Google local service ads. We don't do that as much in restyling yet, but it affects all ads. The average unconverted customer must be followed up with 5 to 7 times before booking. And these are just stats that are true across the board. So customer behavior has changed a lot over the last few years, especially. People want speed. They want convenience. And most customers today, they'd rather text or book online than call you or talk to a human. So the other big challenge is speed to lead, right? If follow-up is delayed in any way, those leads go cold really fast. They just call somebody else, right? And most customers usually need multiple touch points before they actually book. So all of this is leading up to our solution. The solution really comes down to systems, okay? Things like online booking, two-way texting automated in the system, faster follow-up, right? You got to leverage the marketing automation follow-up with a web form within first 2 minutes or less of the submission via phone, email, and text message, probably all three. And because the shops that respond faster and stay engaged longer, they usually convert more leads into booked jobs. So automating and following up. so that every prospect's touched 5 or more times, usually more, I would recommend now, and able to engage via two-way text messaging. Here's the thing I often hear as a pushback on this. I don't want to bug people. Trust me, you're not following up enough nowadays. Everybody has ADD and they're scrolling, right? If you send one email and one call and one text, it's not enough. If they are not interested to begin with, yeah, they'll let you know and you can just take them off your list. But people that are interested want to reach out to you, and they want it easy, and they want it fast, and they want communication. My guess, I bet you're not sending enough emails. You're not sending enough texts, and you're not calling enough times. How do you do it? You typically are going to do this with automation. Okay. So here's 5 facts every restyler needs to know. Okay. Number 1 is 70% of customers prefer text or direct message. 2 is the fastest shop always wins. If you within 5 minutes, makes you 21 times more likely to convert the lead. Now imagine if you did it within 15 seconds, right? Some of these guys, the shop, we know because we call shops, right? We call shops, secret shopping them, or just trying to see if they're interested in our services. And sometimes nobody even picks up the phone, like ever. Come on, we got to fix this. Customers compare 2 to 3 shops. And mobile first is the new standard. So you're not just your website, but the communication. And then better follow-up equals more book jobs every time. Shops with automated follow-up book up to 2 times more jobs from the same number of leads. Okay, 80% is happening on mobile devices, right? These are just things that you need to know. So these trends are important. They show you how customer expectations are changing. So what customers expect today: fast communication, mobile-friendly experiences, texting options, quick responses. Most people are comparing multiple shops before they make a decision. And that means follow-up, visibility, and customer experience matter more than ever. And it's hard to do without automation, to be honest with you. You can just tell everybody in your team that they're not doing good enough. They'll pick it up a little bit, but human nature makes this very tough. Plus, people just get busy, right? So you need a system. So the biggest trends in the industry, I'll just do this one really quick. The industry is continuing to grow quickly, but customer behavior is changing at the same time. Okay, so more research is happening online. More customers are shopping digitally for business. Customers are becoming more comfortable doing services online. So the shops that have these changes are putting themselves in a much stronger position long term. So I mentioned this again about the high converting site. We're going to do this really quick just to make sure conversion is about high converting websites. So the first thing you need to do when somebody lands on your website, you only have a few seconds to capture their attention. People want clarity, they want speed, they want simplicity. They don't want to search around trying to figure out what you do or how to contact you. The best performing websites make it easy for customers to understand the value, trust the business, and take action quickly, because a better website experience usually leads to better conversion rates. And so automation ties in with your website. We're talking really good calls to action, the website chat widgets, the phone numbers, the forms, all of that is their first point of contact. And the minute they do, that should then trigger automation of some kind. And so we have some examples here. Love showing automotive concepts, the ease of how their call to actions, how simple it is to get a hold of them for various things, and how easy that is to find anywhere on the website is featured. Showing their reviews and the gallery, that's all helping with conversion because it gives them this experience. I do want to click. And yeah, I know we're talking about automation, but it all starts with this entry point, which is typically your website. They need to go, okay, I think I'll click on something. Okay, fine, I'll call, or fine, I'll talk to a website, or fine, I'll text. And all of these things, these are things that are very important to have. You've got to have the reviews. You've got to have the pictures. People are very visual and they want the proof elements and the branding and the FAQs, which also help with the AI search nowadays. By the way, we have this free guide, 5 mistakes that quietly kill your book jobs and how to fix them fast. We wanted to give you this free bonus resource. This guide that we have up here, there's a QR code and we can have a link. It was built specifically for restylers, tint shops, wrap shops, detailing businesses. And we break down some of the biggest conversion leaks we consistently see across the industry, like the slow follow-up, the missed opportunities, the weak systems, all this stuff, right? And more importantly, how you fix it quick. So it's a free resource. Definitely download this. You can use this yourself to make some significant impact. So I think a lot of you are going to recognize some of these issues inside your own business pretty quickly, by the way. Okay, so we talked about that, the overall concept of conversion. And now let's get into automation. All right. Without further ado, okay, I'm going to introduce one of my team members. We've got a few of my team on here with me today. I'm excited. We have specialists here for this. So automation isn't about replacing people. I just want to let you know that. That's my number one pushback that I hear about automation in general or AI, is that they're afraid it's going to take everybody's jobs away. It's not about that. That's not the focus here. It's about creating consistency, speed, and visibility, and helping people do their job better. Okay, so that's important. And so for this, I'm going to introduce Rafif. He's the guy who basically makes all the automation magic happen behind the scenes here at AutoStyle Marketing. If it involves the CRM, automations, integration, follow-up system, there's a good chance Rafif built it and knows how to fix it. So you can think of him as the mechanic for your automation. So he's going to walk you through some really cool automation systems that are helping restylers convert more leads and book jobs. And with that, I'm going to let Rafif take over the screen. Are you ready there?
All right. Thank you so much, Jesse, for the introduction. And hi, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. Let me share my screen and we'll get started.
Perfect. Thank you, man.
All right. So please let me know when you're able to see my screen.
You shared the wrong one. I think it's like the panel thing. So yeah.
All right. Let me. Yeah, here we are.
Let me see.
All
Perfect.
right.
All right, you're up. Go ahead.
Perfect. Okay, so guys, the question arises, why automation in the first place, right? So it's really come down to helping businesses move faster and stay consistent, right? Instead of spending time on repetitive tasks like manual follow-ups, your sales team can focus on building real human connections and closing more deals, right? And also it helps you respond leads quickly and you maintain consistent communication with every lead, right? And yeah, the strategy that we follow is really simple. At every step of the customer journey, we would want to have an automation from lead capture to lead nurturing and all the way to lead reactivation. So let's get started with the lead capture automations. So this is one example. A lead comes in through a Google ad or perhaps an organic search. They visit your landing page, submit a code form or application, and they are redirected to the thank you page with a confirmation message, right? And while it's done, we send out a confirmation email with SMS or an email inquiring whether they would like to schedule a call or not. And based on their answer, which could be a yes or no, we send out a booking link, or in case of a no, we send out another personalized message anyway. So while it's done, in the meanwhile, your team also receives an internal email notification with all the details of the form submission. Isn't it amazing, right? So there we have an example from our system. Imagine a customer is searching for a window tint coat at 10:30 at night. They fill out a form on your website. With automation, without automation, that lead might just sit there until the next morning, right? And by then they may have already contacted multiple competitors. However, with automation, the moment the form is submitted, a lead is created within the system, right? Your team gets notified, they get a confirmation email, and then the follow-up can begin immediately. And eventually, when the lead ends up in the job completed stage, this is where we see around more than $200K worth of leads sitting right in that stage, right? And eventually they become a part of that particular stage. Why this matters? Basically, it's all about speed, right? That speed alone can make a difference between winning or losing a customer. And if your business responds slowly, you simply lose revenue. Here is another example. In this case, a follow-up with lead happens when you have given them a quote and then you are awaiting their response. The thing is, not every customer says yes right away after getting a quote, and that's normal behavior. So instead of letting that lead go, automation keeps the conversation going for you, right? Maybe on a day 2, it sends a quick check-in, and then around day 15, it follows up again with the lead. It's important due to the fact you need multiple interactions to bring a sale. As Jesse mentioned earlier, it is normally believed in marketing that it takes at least 7 touches or interactions to convert a cold lead into a customer. And of course, it also makes it simpler for you to be in front of your customers without your team having to do manual follow-ups every time. So my question from you would be, do you need an automated follow-up system? You might leave one in the chat, and that would be a yes for me. All right, Maha. Thank you, guys. So yeah, so basically, here's why. Leads that are not followed up within 15 minutes, they go cold. A follow-up within 5 minutes is actually 21 times more effective than calling after 30 minutes. And that's a staggering stat right there. After 5 minutes, the odds of qualifying a lead drops by 80%. And yeah, do remember that 50% of leads would go to the vendor that responded to them first. All right, so here is another interesting automation that takes things to another level. So this is all about speed to lead. When someone fills out a form, instead of waiting for your team to find the lead in the system and call them later, the system can instantly call your sales rep. They listen to the form details on the phone, and as they press a key, they are connected straight to the customer. Isn't it amazing?
Okay.
So they press a key and they,
Rafif,
yeah, sure.
this one is really great and new. And I just want to pause because I want to make sure you emphasize and make sure I understand it. So somebody goes to a website, they fill out a form. And of course, everybody's notified and that person gets a thank you for filling out our form and all that. But in addition to that, the system calls the shop, maybe whoever's picking up the phone, the admin or the salesperson or whatever. And it says, hey, you have a lead on the line. And here's the information, here's their name and blah, blah, blah to set you up. Here's what they filled out on the form. And then you just literally tap a key, like the number 1 or something, and then it puts you through to that customer. Is that what I'm hearing?
Exactly, yeah. So the sales rep actually listens to the form submission details, and they would know that what's the message from the lead. And then if they agree, if they have time on them right there, they can press a key, and then the system would connect them to that person, to the lead right away.
So in other words, if they don't call, it's almost making it everybody calls. And some apps for that because they're just on the phone. And if somebody fills out a form, it takes them a while to get that form and then call them back. This is like making it as the person filled out the form almost like a caller, because now we're just calling them right away. We're saying, hey, I got your form. That's basically what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So basically, we're having the conversation while the lead is still engaged and they're ready to buy in that moment. And it's not that after you followed up with them after they've moved on to some competitor of yours.
Perfect.
All right. So now comes the lead nurture automations. So this is the next step where if sometimes the lead doesn't respond because perhaps the timing just wasn't right, and it's not that they were interested, but maybe they asked for a window tint quote months ago, but they got busy and never got back, and they never followed up with you, right? And then later they see a seasonal promotional email from you in their email inbox, and now they're interested and ready to move. Why it's important? Because when the time is right, your business is the one that's on their mind, right? So your business is someone who they remember. All right, so next comes to lead reactivation automations, and this is an all-inclusive one, right? And it comes for post-job follow-ups. Once the job is completed, it's the best time to automatically ask for a review while their experience is fresh. And from there, you can keep the relationship going with follow-up messages that introduce your other services as well. And you may also encourage them to refer your services to a friend of theirs. And in return, you offer them a small discount on their next job. So yeah, it covers 3 things. And one job that is completed, it can turn into stronger reviews and repeat business as well, because you're upselling the customer. And then they're bringing more customers through referrals, right? And this process lets you leverage your current relationships with the customers, the existing customers. And how it helps? It's reducing your cost per acquisition, because you're reducing your cost, increasing your profits, and you're scaling up fast as well. Here are some other automations that you might want to incorporate into your business. So this is about source tracking and tagging to identify the sources of each lead. And this automation is really about knowing exactly where the lead are coming from, right? And how you're organizing them within the system. You can tag each lead by source, like Google Business Profile call, website form, chat widget, wherever they came from, and then by campaign as well. So if they came from Google Ads, it would be tagged as Google Ads lead. If it's from Meta, and that would be the case. And you can filter them and tag them according to the type of the category they belong to as well. Like if they belong to a retail pipeline, the lead would be tagged. And in future, if you want to send out follow-ups that are personalized for each category of the business, that's doable. and it gives you much better visibility into what's actually working in the system as well. And your follow-ups, your marketing budget decisions, all are a lot smarter. These decisions get easier because you know what's working and what's not. All right, so here is another interesting one. So it's lead engagement scoring automation. So this is about prioritizing the leads that are showing the strongest buying signals. So your sales team is in the system, and they know that every action a lead takes, like submitting a form, perhaps booking a call or making a payment, your sales team would know that this is the worth of this lead. So because it adds a point to the score with each action. If I click on your website, on your email, if I open it, if I click to a link, that would add a score in the system. And I would know as a sales team member that this is the person I would want to follow up with right away. So instead of treating every lead the same, your team can quickly see who is the most engaged one and the focus, and they just focus their attention on the highest chance, on the leads which have the highest chance of conversion. So this automation shows how you can automatically qualify inbound calls. So when a call comes into the system can identify whether the duration of the call was 60 seconds or more. And if it is more than 60 seconds, then it would automatically tag it as a qualified lead. And in addition, if the source is Google Ads, it would also send that data to Google Ads for further optimization, right? So you're filtering serious leads, and at the same time, you're helping Google Ads system to improve the results of their future paid campaigns as well. All right, so this one is really important because as we enter into the agentic AI era within AI revolution, it becomes all the more important to use agents as well, right? So companies often struggle to receive calls during non-business hours. So the voice AI agent can actually help you capture those leads, even when your shop is closed. If someone calls after hours, the agent can answer the call right away. They can actually send a text with the link to the quote form as well. So in this case, the agent did that and the person submitted the form, and then the information got into the system, and someone from the team actually got back to the person really after the call. So what the agent does, it sends the link to the person. It can also create a new lead in the system. So within the pipeline, you would know that, okay, we have a lead from yesterday and the agent was behind that call. And then it would automatically share a transcript and a call summary of this conversation in your email inbox, right? So this is where we have got in the email or in the voice AI automation category. So the next one, it's a common one, but it depends on the utility, how set it up. It's IVR automation, where it's called interactive voice response as well. So when someone calls in, they can choose if they want to connect with the retail side of the business, or perhaps a particular team member from the dealership side of your business, right? So it removes the friction, and the right person is connected to the right department or the right team member who they want to talk to. So that's how it helps your business. So the bottom line, when you're utilizing automation for your business, the ideal outcome looks like customers should be able to get at least a soft online opportunity to book a time online, so that the next time they book an appointment or a call with you, it becomes easier for them. Secondly, every new lead should get an email right after the submission of a form, right? They should get a confirmation email or a call from your team. And thirdly, the key takeaway is the fact that you need to get in touch with the lead for at least 7 touch points or interactions, right? At least 7 times, because this is what that increases the probability of converting them. And that's how your business success becomes inevitable. All right.
That's great.
That was some loaded session, but yeah, that's all from me. Yeah, please
I
go
have
ahead, Jesse.
couple quick questions for you, Rafif, before we
Sure.
move on. Say here on this slide here.
Right.
When a lot of people are concerned about the AI agents picking up the phone, and
Yeah.
so you were talking about after hours is one use, so it could be done at night. But these agents are getting better, aren't they? It's getting to the point where they sound better, they're smarter. Sometimes people are even fooled. Not that you're trying to fool anybody, but sometimes if you name it Cindy, and then people come to the shop asking for Cindy, right? I've heard that. But it also sometimes they can say, hey, I'm an AI agent, I'm here to help. And people still prefer to just talk about the issue because they can get all the information. And people are warming up to this idea, even those that would be not feeling right about it. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. The agent does. This is what happens normally, but initially, when the automation is set up, there is a lot of room to improve, right? But over time, the agent can learn as well, and we
Mm.
can always train it better. So,
Yeah.
based on a previous mistake, we can make sure that the agent doesn't do that again. So,
Right.
yeah, the opportunity to learn is there as well.
Great. That's perfect. And then the last slide on the IVR, that when someone calls, they would dial 1 for this and 2 for that. Is it like a phone tree, or does it work a different way? How does this IVR, how does it figure out who to send the caller to?
So, within the system, what happens is if I give you a call, and the system, it would play a message for you, right? If you want to connect to the retail side, press 1. If you want to connect to the dealership line, press 2. Or
Oh,
if
okay.
there are any other department as well, it can go on from there. But yeah, once you do, the system would connect to the right person. If they are using the CRM system, they would probably get a notification right there on their PC, or if they are the mobile app from, they can get a notification on the mobile app as well.
Okay.
But if they have a dedicated number, the call would be directed to that number as well. So it really depends on the setup and the requirement.
So another follow-up, and I think you answer this, but let's say there's somebody who calls regularly. Okay, they're not coming in from an ad, but they call the line. Can we train it so that person always gets routed a certain way? Is that possible? For
Sorry, your
example,
voice is
so
cracking a bit. Sorry.
I'm sorry. So for example, if we know that a particular number, a lead, a contact always needs to go to a certain department, could we just have them skip it and just go straight to that department? Is it possible to do that?
So yeah, within the system, we can actually assign a person or a salesperson to a particular lead. And then we can set up the automation in a way that whenever someone calls, their call would be directed to that person only.
Cool.
So yeah.
That's great. That is fantastic. Awesome. Okay. If you can, I don't need to share my screen, Ruff. If you can just keep sharing for a minute more and progress through a couple slides for me, and then we can hand it off. So this one right here, this slide right here. Okay. Awesome stuff from Rafif. If you got any value from what Rafif said, can you say yes? Or no, actually type A, the letter A for automation. If you thought anything that Rafif said was new or interesting or useful to you. Thank you. Awesome. Saw an A in there, a couple A's. Thank you. Thank you, Josh. Hopefully you guys can now see how automation and systems improve follow-up, visibility, customer experience, all the things we talked about. Now we're going to shift into another really important piece of the puzzle, sales enablement, and reputation management. So one more slide, Rafif, here before we hand it off. You could progress, move forward one. Thank you. So getting the lead is one thing, but building trust and helping customers feel confident in choosing your shop is what really drives conversions, right? So with that, I'd like to introduce Maham. And so she is, let's go to the next slide. Okay. She is, and what I love about this is she is our concierge and account strategy specialist at AutoStyle Marketing. Some of you know her. She gets on our calls with our account strategists, and she helps you improve. Her job is to keep you from losing money. So she's very important to your business and ours. And so with that, I'm going to hand it off to Maham. Thank you. Raf, if you can stop sharing, and then she could start.
Hello, guys. Thank you, Jesse. I really appreciate that. And I'm just going to share my screen quickly. Let me know if you can see it. Is it visible?
Yes, you're up.
Okay, perfect. So actually, Jesse and Rafif already talked about getting leads into the business. But while working inside these CRMs every day, I started noticing a pattern. And honestly, it changed the way I look at conversions completely. And it all started with one question, which is, are leads actually the real problem? Because they're not. The leads are not the real problem. The follow-through is. The leads are coming in. Here is what is happening. We are getting leads from Google Ads, Facebook, Instagram, calls. But look at what happens next. They enter the pipeline, and then suddenly we have missed calls, no response, lead goes cold, and that's where the drop happens. And that is the scary part. The leads are already there, but most of them never actually hear back. You sometimes get an initial response, some get inconsistent follow-up, and some get absolutely nothing. So this stopped looking like a marketing problem to us and started more looking like an operational one. And right now, I want you guys to be honest with me for a second, looking at your current process, on a scale from 1 to 5, how well do you think your sales team is actually managing leads right now? And if you can drop a number in the chat from 1 to 5, 1 being extremely good and 5 being bad, and 3 would be the middle point, and that would be great. Yes, 4. Actually, this is what happens mostly because businesses start realizing there's a gap between getting leads and actually converting them. So if leads are coming in, but the follow through is breaking, what do you think the actual solution actually is? Because most people immediately think more ads, more leads, more marketing, but that's usually not the answer. So what should you do, basically? And the reality is we turn opportunity into revenue. There's the bridge between the lead. They are the bridge between the lead and the booked job. So if we want better results, we have to support the people handling those opportunities. And if you can see here, what we need to do is we need to, instead of blaming salespeople, we started empowering them. We gave them better tools, better follow-up systems, better visibility, because when you give people the right tools, they perform better. And when the team performs better, everybody wins. So this is the simple sales process. A lead comes in, you contact them, you qualify them, you close the job, you have a client. That part is simple. Everybody knows that. The problem is when there's no real process managing all of this. Because without process, this is what it starts looking like. You can see here we have missed follow-ups, manual tracking, sticky notes everywhere, no visibility. But when the system is organized, we have predictable growth. Everything becomes cleaner, trackable, and predictable. And when you have predictability, every lead, this is like a real client pipeline after implementing the system. So everything here is organized. Every lead has a stage, every lead has ownership. So now nothing gets lost in the mess anymore. We have everything organized here. And then we move to lead management with a sales pipeline. And this is what the process starts looking like. Every lead has a stage, every rep has accountability, every follow-up is visible. And so now management can actually see bottlenecks and nothing falls through the cracks anymore. And when everything is organized, this is how your system is going to look. Your pipeline is going to look organized, everything has a place, everything is visible, and every lead is being tracked. So again, nothing is sitting there unnoticed anymore. If we move on, and this is why stages matter so much too, because every lead goes somewhere. It goes to new lead, it goes to communicating, it goes to follow up, it goes to quote it, because we know what is happening and there is a process. It goes to being booked and it is then sold. And if they don't move forward, they're either nurtured, marked, lost, or closed out properly. So now nothing just disappears without a reason. And once you can see everything clearly, you can manage it, you can improve it, and you can actually start predicting it, because you cannot improve what you cannot see. And this is where predictability becomes really powerful. I'm stating this as an example. So if you see, we have 500 leads coming, and hypothetically around 150 become qualified, 45 move to proposals, and 15 actually close out. You can actually start forecasting revenue. So now your average deal is around $3,000, and you already know that pipeline could generate around $45,000 in revenue. It is simple maths, and that is why organization and follow-up matter so much. For example, same 100 leads, but without proper system and follow-up, you only convert around 30 jobs. That's around $19,500 in revenue. But with automation and consistent follow-up, that jumps to 70 booked jobs. And now you're looking at 45,500, as we talked about in the last slide. So the leads did not change, the handling did. And now the question becomes, I have to ask you this. Do you guys know that you can analyze calls with AI? Because Rafif already talked about it. So I'm just going to ask, if you guys already knew about this, you can drop a 1 in the chat. And if you would like to know about this, you can drop a 0. I'm going to wait for you for a few seconds. Great. That's good to know. Thank you, guys. What happens is, thank you. What happens is, so we built this automation system and the lead comes in, it gets dragged, and it gets tagged, staged, and assigned. This is what we started building. We started building a system. And the sales reps follows the process. Yes, that's true. They have heard about it, but they don't know much about it. So that's why I'm going to be like giving you guys an example of what the automation system we built in the first place that is helping our resellers and our clients right now. So this is the system. The lead comes in, it gets tagged, staged, and assigned, and then it moves through the pipeline. The sales rep follows the process, and every single call gets analyzed by AI. So now owners don't have to guess what's happening anymore. And this is one of my favorite parts. After every call, the AI analyzes the transcript automatically, and the note goes directly into the CRM. So now sales rep don't have to manually type everything out. The conversation, next steps, follow-up notes are already logged inside the system. And that creates accountability, consistency, and visibility for the entire team. So this is an actual example of the email that gets triggered after every single call. The AI scores the call, summarizes what happens, and points out the strengths and weaknesses automatically, so the salespeople can actually see the feedback in real time. And managers and CEOs don't actually need to check every single call because that would be a lot. They just get one clean monthly report. So instead of guessing performance, they can actually track it. And this is where the revenue impact becomes very real. So you can see here, if a follow-up is weak, if objections are not handled properly, if there is no clear next steps, the business starts losing money. You can actually see it right here. 70% of the leads not followed up, $10,000 in revenue are being at risk. And if we do a yearly math, it is $126,000 yearly. So small mistakes inside the sales process turn into very expensive problems over time. So
I want to pause you, Mahan, because what you just is amazing. This is probably my favorite part of this whole webinar presentation is this report that you've created that allows an owner or a sales manager to, it's not about beating up your team. It's about coaching and guiding and helping them get better. And it's a grade like they got in school. And what I love, it's very specific to show them what they need to improve on. And it shows how much money you're losing if they don't get better. What a great tool. What a great training tool. And it doesn't, hopefully nobody has to fire anybody over this, but the idea is not to do that. We're not trying to be Big Brother so much as a coach. Like, how do we, hey, you've got people picking up the phone. How do we help them help themselves? Right. And I love this. This is a very powerful tool right here. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course, no worries. So moving on, after working inside these CRMs, I started noticing the same mistakes over and over again because there were slow follow-ups, treating every lead the same, no urgency, no nurture process. And honestly, that's where a lot of revenue gets lost because not every lead is the same. Hot leads need speed, warm leads need nurturing, and cold leads need re-engagement. But a lot of teams treat all three the exact same way. And these are some expensive mistakes you can make in sales, of course. And so this is why we created a sales guide and a follow-up system. So sales team don't have to guess anything what to say or when to follow up. Everything is structured for them. Hot leads, warm leads, cold leads, objection handling, scripts, cadences, it is all there. And you can actually download the full playbook right now. You can scan the QR code. I can obviously give you a few minutes if you want to do it right now. Emma has also dropped it in the chat, so that's great. And we can just move on. You guys can open it and download the free guide. And honestly,
that domain, just so we mention it, it's autostylemarketing.com and guide. We can get that in the transcript as well. All right, continue. I'm sorry, Maham, go ahead and continue.
No worries. And yes, this would be the ideal scenario. So automation and people working together. The system handles the repetitive tasks, but the relationship still comes from the real people, as Jesse mentioned just now. That balance is where best results happen. And this is the biggest thing I want everyone to take away today too. Automation helps with visibility, organization, follow-up, accountability, but people still close deals, people still build trust, and people still create customer experience. So the goal isn't replacing your sales team, it's empowering them. And honestly, the whole system comes from real problems we kept seeing inside shops and all the people that we were working in. For example, we have one of our clients, Josh Polson. He has multiple shops in multiple locations. And even though traffic and leads were coming in, the conversions just were not where they should have been. So when we looked deeper, it wasn't because people were not getting leads. It was because there was not enough visibility, follow through, or structure inside the process. So we started building systems specifically for restylers, which are something practical, something trackable, and something built around the way these shops actually operate. Because every system has a story, and this one was built from real life problems. I'm going to quickly go over through the reputation management part, because Jesse talked about earlier in the accelerated growth model that growth doesn't just come from leads. It comes from three things working together, which are your website, your automation, and your reputation. And this is where reputation management becomes really important, and you can actually do it too. So what is happening here is we help build reputation after sale. We use the CRM and automation systems to stay connected with the customers and then automatically request reviews at the right time. We also make it easier for customers to leave reviews. As you can see here, we have QR codes, follow-up texts, emails, and in-shop material. So instead of hoping customers leave feedback, the process actually encourages it consistently. And these are here real examples from shops already doing this well. We have strong reviews, we have strong visibility, and strong customer trust. Because at the end of the day, a great customer experience should turn into a great online reputation too. And this was the end for me. I took way too long. Thank you, Jesse, but I will hand it over to you now. I think, Jesse, you are on mute.
You did great, and I don't think you took too long. I think you shared some really valuable stuff there. We have all of this in workbook form and slides for anybody that wants to. Huge thank you to Maham for walking through the sales enablement and reputation side of this. Give her a thumbs up or a clap your hands in the interaction section of the down at the bottom of your screen if you can. All of that directly impacts trust, customer confidence, ultimately the conversions. And also thank you, Rafif. Both of you did a really good job. Appreciate it. Again, what I'm showing on the screen now, these are just hypotheticals. These are total hypothetical numbers. They just help illustrate how the math behind the ROI can work. Okay, so let's say a shop generates 500 leads in whatever amount of time, could be in the month or something. If their systems and their follow-up process help them convert 65% of those leads into book jobs, based on what we've been showing here, that gives them 325 book jobs. Okay, now if the average ticket, now that's a pretty good, by the way, conversion, and that's because they're doing all these things, right? So if the average ticket value is around $750, a lot of shops we talk to, they have $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 average, but they also have some smaller stuff. So let's just use $750 to be conservative. That's going to create approximately $243,750 in projected revenue. That's a lot of money, right? And in this example, the marketing and automation investment, now, this is not our price. We're not quoting anything. We're just saying in this particular project, let's say, hypothetically, it costs $6,677 to install and do all of these things. But still, when you compare that $6,677 $677 invested against the $243,750 in projected revenue. It's a drop in the bucket. It creates a projected ROI of roughly 36.5x, right? So how would you like to get $36.50 for every $1 you spend? That's incredible ROI without even spending any money on ads, any more money on ads, right? That's incredible. So obviously every business is different. Every market's a little different. Every conversion rate's a little different. But the point of the slide is to show that improving conversions and systems can have a massive impact on revenue without needing to dramatically increase lead volume. That's the main point of this. So here's what we covered today. This was a lot. Thank you. Why most restylers don't actually have a lead problem. They really have a conversion and follow-up problem. We covered the biggest conversion leaks and how they're killing your book jobs, how automation improves the lead. That was a big point today. Well, follow consistency matters more than ever. The CRM pipelines and sales visibility, missed call and web form recovery systems, internal notification and sales accountability, online booking and customer communication, predictable revenue through measurable systems. That's the big point. And then how the top shops are scaling with automation plus process. That was a lot in one webinar, right? The main thing that I want you to take away and remember is that better systems create better conversions, and better conversions create predictable growth. If there was one theme, that would be it. And so how about you? What takeaways, what area do you need to focus on the most? What were your takeaways? What's the lowest hanging fruit? If you have the workbook, there's places to fill this out. There's some interaction. You can also reach out to me and my team. We'd be happy to talk to you about these things and help you out with any of these items. So just asking you that right now, think about that. And what I love to see, anybody that attends any of our webinars or watches the recordings, nothing happens until you take action. So what I've learned over the years is there's a lot of ideas here, but what can you do now to move the needle for yourself? So what are your top action items? And I recommend 1 to 3 things. Don't do 27 things because it's not realistic to get it all done right now. But right now, what are the 1 to 3 things that you can take immediate action on out of this? I would love it if you want to share those with me at any time. That'd be great. Don't forget, you can check out our free trial, 30-day free trial of our Restyler CRM. We have taken so much education from real world shops doing this, customized it, and we give you an opportunity to check it out for free. There's a QR code. You can also go to our website, autostylemarketing.com. If you go to the services section, you'll see Restyler CRM, 30-day free trial right now. Also, we are offering a free conversion and automation audit. We will help you identify lead response gaps, missed follow-up opportunities, pipeline visibility issues, CRM inefficiencies, lost revenue opportunities, weak sales processes, automation opportunities, missed call conversion leaks. We have all of this, including a 2026 internet marketing plan. If you missed our earlier webinar, it's not too late to get that. We can give that to you for free as well, help you develop your marketing plan and do a complete audit. But right now, we're also helping out with automation on top of that. So thank you. Thank you guys for showing up. For everybody who is here live, and if you're watching the recording, we also appreciate the fact that you took time to watch and listen to all of this. And you can reach us at autostylemarketing.com. You can call us at 206-875-2922. And we're here to help you in any way we can. Thank you and have a wonderful day. If there's anybody that has a question or two, I will hang out for a minute. And other than that, we will call it good. Okay, thank you guys all. For those of you from my team that helped out, again, Mohammed and Rafif, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. You did a really good job of this. Hopefully the rest of you learned something. Team, if you're still on here, anybody, if you could leave in the chat just to give them a little kudos for their hard work in the presentation. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Okay, we'll talk to y'all later. Thank you.